Good morning. My name is Lorena Valdeo, and I am assigned to talk about asthma as a physical disability that may require an affected student to be placed under special education. So, asthma is defined as a chronic lung disease affecting people of all ages. It is caused by inflammation and muscle tightening around the airways, which makes it harder to breathe. So, asthma symptoms can often occur in response to a trigger. So these common triggers include infections like colds and flu, allergies such as to pollen, dust mites, animal fur, or feathers, smoke, fumes, and pollution, medicines, particularly anti-inflammatory painkillers, emotions, including stress or laughter, can also be a trigger for asthma. Next, we have weather, such as sudden changes in temperature, cold air, wind, thunderstorms, heat, and humidity. Exercise can also um, is also a common trigger for asthma. So when a person with asthma experiences these triggers or are exposed to these triggers, they will have the symptoms. These symptoms include shortness of breath, wheezing, tightness in the chest, coughing, trouble sleeping because of the mentioned symptoms. So, asthma is classified according to the severity of symptoms and their persistence. So, we have four classifications. The first one being mild intermittent, where there is mild symptoms for up to 2 days a week and up to 2 nights a month. We also have mild persistent, where symptoms happen for more than twice a week, but no more than one in a single day. We also have moderate persistent, where symptoms happen once a day and more than one night a week. And finally, we have severe persistent, where symptoms throughout the day or symptoms happen throughout the day on most days and frequently at night. So here we have some statistical data about the enrollment of students with asthma in special education. So according to research, children with asthma were 60% more likely to be enrolled in special education than children without asthma. They also mentioned that low income asthmatic children who have been shown to have inadequate asthma control were more likely to be enrolled in special education. So, why are some students who have asthma placed under special education? There are, in, there are instances wherein the student would require extra measures of protection, modifications, and accommodations, most especially in terms of class attendance and submission of requirements, and there is no system other than special education available in public schools to deal with an uncontrolled chronic disease such as asthma and its educational consequences. First, let's see how asthma impacts the learning experience of a student. Students with asthma often experience fatigue, so they get tired very easily, which results to absenteeism and missed class time. These, in effect, will make it difficult for the student to catch up if he is enrolled in a general education classroom. Moreover, an asthma episode is distracting and upsetting to other students and staff because asthma attacks sometimes happen in school and they can be a source of distraction for the class due to the uncontrollable noise, and it may even make some students experience panic. Next, students with asthma sometimes experience lower self esteem. Due to their condition, some students might feel that they get sick more often than other students and that their condition makes, thus affecting their self confidence. And then, students' academic success can be affected by missed class time and absenteeism. And some students with asthma feel anxious about participating in physical education or other activities because they're afraid they will experience an asthma episode. So it can also be traumatic for some students. So the question is, how can we help students control their asthma at school? So first, we can follow an individualized written asthma action plan. So we can devise an individualized action plan so that the student will be able to catch up and still deliver despite his or her condition. This action plan will include the modifications and accommodations that the school can provide to make sure that the student is getting the rest he or she needs while still being able to productively participate in class. Related to the mentioned action plan is making sure the teaching team knows what causes the students' asthma attacks. So, for example, if a student in a classroom is sensitive to specific allergens or irritants, like what we mentioned earlier, we can try to reduce or eliminate those allergens or irritants so that the student won't have an asthma attack or an asthma episode in school. Or it will somehow lessen the possibility of having an asthma attack in school. And then encourage students to use their asthma medications as prescribed by their doctors. So, what are the specific accommodation and modifications for students with asthma? First, they may be given a shorter examination than the regular students, which will not include items that involve topics taught when a child was absent. The student may be given alternative assignments instead of joining activities that involve traveling long distances, such as field trips. So instead of field trips, they can have um, film watching and then making a reaction about it, and other assignments which will not involve lots of traveling so that the student won't feel tired and won't have an asthma attack. And then the student will be allowed to excuse himself from the class to take breaks whenever necessary. Limit the student's exposure to certain materials that may cause an episode. The student may also be given extra time to complete a task or even make up homework when necessary for him to be able to catch up with the class. After an outdoor activity, for example, or a physical education class, the student will be given extra time to rest, catch his breath, count. That's the end of my report. Thank you.